And let's go a little deeper into the router firewall hardware that I'm going to use. As I said before, it's an Intel Atom D2500 Fanless Mini-ITX PC. It's a Mini-ITX motherboard. It's got an Intel Atom CPU D2500 at 1.86 gigahertz with 2 cores, and each core has 2 threads, meaning it will show up on the hardware as 4 cores. And as for the memory, it's got a 2 GB stick of RAM DDR3, and the graphic ports are 1 VGA and 1 DVI port. And it has a dual gigabit Ethernet Intel 82574L port, a dual serial port as well, and a 32 GB SSD SATA drive installed. And it's got a Morex T341 fanless enclosure and a Western mount. Unfortunately, it does not have any virtualization features on the CPU like VTX or VTD or any of AES-NI encryption engine. I recently checked what kind of price are you getting online with this particular model. It's right about $200, but when I bought this like a couple of years ago, it was around $350. So I bought it for $350. Now it's about $200. And as for the managed switch that I'm going to use, it's an 8-port gigabit Easy Smart switch with 4-port as PoE. It's got the your typical standards and protocols. It has an 8-port RJ45 gigabit ports, and it's backward compatible down to 10 Mbps. It's auto negotiable, and it has jumbo frames in it up to 15 kilobytes. It's got the QoS. It can be port based, and it supports up to 4 priority queues, a rate limit, and storm control as well. The layer 2 features are IGMP snooping, link aggregation, static only, port mirroring, cable diagnostics, and loop prevention. It supports up to 32 VLANs simultaneously. And it can be configured based on MTU port or tag. And as I said before, static link aggregation only, so no LACP. You can configure this device from a system utility that can be only run on Windows, or you can use the web GUI that it comes with via the network interface. Its price is around this time. I checked online on Amazon. It's $60. But if you're looking for a cheaper alternative, there's an 8-port gigabit Easy Smart switch available for $30. The only difference between this and that is it has no PoE. The first 4 ports are PoE enabled, and on that one there are no PoE ports. And here we have the Wi-Fi access point hardware that we're going to use. It's a Unifi AP AC LITE. It's for indoors. The 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth gives you up to 300 megabytes, and the 5 gigahertz bandwidth gives you up to 867 megabytes per second. And in my experience, the 5 gigahertz gives me, I think, up to 300, and the 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth, it gives me up to 100. It's PoE enabled. You can power this over the PoE if switch supports this, and in our case, our switch does support PoE. And if you don't have a switch with the PoE enabled, it also comes with a 24-volt PoE adapter. It has a single gigabit Ethernet port at the back, and right about now it comes around $80. Checked recently, but when I bought this thing, I bought this for over $150 a few years ago. Unfortunately, it does not come with any VLAN feature, so you cannot have multi-Wi-Fi networks configured. And how do you configure this device? By a Unifi Network app. It's a mobile app. And the cables we're going to use is Cat5e cables. And here's a list of the kind of bandwidth that you get with the 5Es. If it's a Cat5, you get 100 Mbps. That's the top bandwidth. And with the Cat5e, you get 1 gigabits, up to 1 gigabits. With the Cat 6, you get 10, but since I have only 5 of these Cat 5 cables lying around, I'm going to use these. I do have one Cat 5, but that is just too slow, so I'm not going to use that at all. And I don't have any Cat 6 cables available, so it has to be 1 gigabit as well. Anyway, the gigabit ports on the switch and the router, they're 1 gigabits. Can't go over 1 gigabit with those, so it doesn't make sense anyway to use Cat 6 cables. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you want to really support this channel. And also check out the affiliate links in the description below.